Good morning. My name is Sarah Summers, and I'm going to be serving as your worship associate this morning. We are happy to see the faces of old and new friends here. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson is not merely a tolerant community, but truly a welcoming congregation. We receive here gladly, regardless of your racial or ethnic background, age, economic status, political affiliation, gender expression, or sexual orientation. Our diversity is what unites us and makes us wiser and stronger. If you would like more information about UUFC, I encourage you to check out our website or speak with the welcome table volunteers following the service. There are many spiritual paths in this world. You will find more than one within this congregation. You will not be judged for your beliefs. In fact, here, your choices are respected and allowed to flourish. I hope that today's service will fill a place inside of you that feels hungry for something deeper. Please accept our invitation to return every Sunday. Is really quite different. I'd like to just go over a few of the announcements. You've got actually a couple of handouts that were given to you, and there's also some of our activities that are listed on the back of our bulletin today. You can take a minute and read through those and take it home with you. I encourage you to take it home and look at it. But what I'd really like to just focus on, out of all those announcements, we've got so many things going on, but the big thing, the big takeaway here for today would be the Beyond Categorical Thinking flyer. Okay, did everybody have one? Okay, did you get one of these? Okay, all right. We need for you to participate in this as friends and also members to help us in our search for our settled minister. And so this is a workshop. It's scheduled for November the 5th in the afternoon, and I hear there's really good snacks, so that's good, yeah. But we need you to RSVP, okay? And so directions for that are on this right here, and the RSVP date is October 30th, okay? Good with that? Okay. And at this time, I'd just like to encourage you to stand up and greet your neighbor, the person that's standing next to you. Like to remain standing, we're going to sing hymn 118, This Little Light of Mine.
I'm gonna let it shine.
That was fun. I'd just like to take a few minutes to talk to you about our annual stewardship drive. I am the stewardship on the stewardship committee, and today is the official beginning of our drive. And for this, to sort of get us in the mood here, yes, I would like to read for you a selection called One Reason by Reverend John B. Wolfe. He is a retired senior minister at All Souls in Tulsa and a UUA Board of Trustees member from 1989 to 93. There is only one reason for joining a UU church. That is to support it. You want to support it because it stands against superstition and fear, because it points to what's noblest and best in human life, because it is open to men and women of whatever race, creed, color, or national origin. You want to support a UU church because it has a free pulpit, because you can hear ideals expressed here which would cost any other minister his or her job. You want to support it because it is a place where children can come without being saddled with guilt or terrified of some celestial peeping Tom, where they can learn that religion is for joy and for comfort and for gratitude and love. You want to support it because it is a place where walls between people are torn down rather than built up, because it is a place for the religious displaced persons of our time, the refugees from mixed marriages, the unwanted free thinkers, and those who insist against orthodoxy that they must work out their own beliefs. You want to support a Unitarian Universalist church because it is more concerned with human beings than with dogmas, because it searches for the holy rather than dwells upon the depraved, because it calls no one a sinner, yet knows how deep is the struggle and how great is the hunger for what is good. You want to support a UU church because it can laugh, because it stands for something in a day when religion is still more concerned with platitudes than with prejudice and war. You want to support it not because it buys you some insurance policy toward your funeral service, but because it insults neither your intelligence nor your conscience, and because it calls you to worship what is truly worthy of your sacrifice. There is only one reason for joining a Unitarian Universalist church: to support it. So, I am just asking you to support our UUFC annual stewardship drive. Do it with abundance, conviction, and celebration of this community. And here's a very important part. You can pick up your stewardship envelope from me in the social hall after the service.
No post.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, Sarah, for the welcome and for doing the hard work of being the stewardship chair. I am Reverend Christina Branum-Martin, and I'm the interim minister here at the fellowship. It is so good to be with you today. I am wanting to let you know that today is a multi-generational service. So Maya and Talia will be joining us, and all of the young and young at heart will be in the room with us. And we've got a story and an activity and great music. So hopefully we are all entertained. And just know that the sounds of life and of childhood are welcome. That is a part of being a part of a community that welcomes all from 0 to 100, or as one of our members is 104. Mary Alice Mayberry is 104. So we welcome from 0 to 105 or beyond. I would like to invite Maya and Talia up to light the chalice with me today. Come on up. Yeah. So you're going to light it and you're going to put it out. Okay? Put this one out. There, you did it. Okay, now blow. Okay, now you put that one out. Put it down. You just know. Yeah, just put it all the way down. Now, turn it around. Put it down. There you go. You did it great. Thank you. Our chalice lighting words today are, through the week this chalice abides, cupped and silent, softly it gleams in a brightly lit room, complete unto itself. And today we come together as a community of faith, joyful and free, and our energies combine to light this flame of truth. May we each draw from each other, and like this chalice, may we be bathed in the fire of commitment to social justice, equity, and peace. Would you join with me in the sharing of our words of affirmation that we speak together each week? We gather together in the spirit of love, justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. And we have a really interesting story. Should they come forward, or can they sit right there? Okay. Maya and Talia, why don't you come back? And you want to stay there? You can watch? Okay. Come on back.
Morning. We have a story this morning called The Warm Fuzzies and the Cold Pricklies. See, many years ago, on a little island, lived a bunch of happy people. They loved their friendly little island with its beautiful trees, water, sand. The islanders had a special tradition of trading warm fuzzies with each other. Warm fuzzies were like little balls of pure love that made everyone feel good all over. People would offer warm fuzzies freely, and if you needed one, all you had to do was ask. Even people you didn't know would reach into their pockets and pull out a warm fuzzy and just give it to you. Every warm fuzzy was like a big hug from a friend, and there were plenty of warm fuzzies to go around. See, I still have more. Everyone felt safe and loved, and they all helped each other to feel safe and loved. But one day, a grouchy, grumbly, mumbly tourist came to visit the island. He didn't understand what everyone was doing, but he sure didn't like it. He kept cold prickles in his pockets. And warm fuzzies didn't make any sense to him. So he decided that he would tell a lie to the islanders to convince them to stop with all that warm fuzzy nonsense. The grouchy tourist told the islanders that their warm fuzzies were the most precious things in the world. He told them that instead of sharing them, they should be keeping them. What if the world's supply of warm fuzzies ran out? What would they do then? All of a sudden, the islanders began worrying, acting selfishly, keeping their warm fuzzies to themselves. And a funny thing happened. When people stopped sharing their warm fuzzies, people stopped receiving warm fuzzies. Instead of everyone feeling warm and fuzzy inside, they started to feel cold and prickly inside. And this made everyone kind of sad. Everyone except for that grouchy tourist, that is. Thank goodness something nice happened next. You see, one of the islanders had gone off to college. She came home to visit and brought her warm fuzzies with her. When she arrived home, she started giving warm fuzzies to everyone she saw. The islanders started to realize what they were missing and that they had made a mistake. Holding on to their warm fuzzies didn't make them happier, it made them miserable. They figured out that giving their warm fuzzies away not only made their friends happy, it made them happy too. Good news is, we can be just like those islanders. We can give warm fuzzies, like the little cotton balls, but we can also give warm fuzzies that are sparkly little fluffy imaginary balls of happy, kind of like this. You see, when we offer a kind word or help someone to feel better, that's the best kind of warm fuzzy there is.
I'm going to hold on to this. Thank you. This is the time in which we gather together to support this congregation, and specifically, each week we have collections that support our community partners. And those donations that come in that are undesignated, unless it says pledge or something like that, they go to our partners. And what an amazing thing. I was able to see that since the beginning of the time in which I was here, over $5,000 has been donated to the benevolences. So in 2 years, this community here has been connected in such a meaningful way. So please give freely, not only to this congregation and your pledge, but give freely also so that we can share with the community at large. And Talia, would you bring the cart forward and help with the food collection? These gifts are welcomed with joy and with gratitude. Thank you for all that you give. We have some joys and concerns. And the first, Mike Cole says, Jane and I are happy to be back in Clemson after traveling to Madison, Wisconsin and New Orleans. And our beach house has survived the hurricane well. Hallelujah. We have a really special stone today to put in the bowl for Lori Varenhorst. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm turning 26 on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
I'm turning 62, so that's...
There you go. Maya Wetzler says that she is so joyful that Halloween is only 2 weeks away. Many times, things that are in our heart are not ready to be shared. May this last stone that we put in be for those things that we hold dear. May our joys be shared soon so that we can celebrate with you. And if you have a sorrow, may you reach out and let us be there with you too. Thank you. You want to go back to the activity area? No, you want to stay there? Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath and prepare for a quiet time of prayer and meditation. I'm going to share some words that were adapted from the writing of Leslie Ahuva Fales. She writes, "All that we have been separately and all that we will become together is stretched out before and behind us, like stars scattered on the canvas of sky. We stand at a precipice, arms locked, together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Or fear of failure? Our mistrust of our own talents? What have we got to lose? A poverty of spirit? The lie that we are alone? What wonders await us in that space between that first leap when our feet, our wheels, our jump, our body moves over this precious earth to touch down softly on unknown soil? What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some possible unimaginable joy? As a humanist myself, I use the word prayer lightly. I use it knowing that it is coming from the deepest place within me, reaching to the deepest place within you. And for those of you who use the language of reverence of God or the holy, I pray to that now. My prayer is to the spirit of life, which rushes through us in our breath and in our heartbeat. May the spirit of life sustain us. May it enliven us. May it enable us to reach this moment. And may we have the courage to leap and find gratitude in our landing and share with us in the joy of a long and fruitful ministry together. And with that, this humanist says, Amen. And now the choir is going to sing a song called Wo Ya Ya, and I'd like to tell you where that song comes from. And Ghana, Wo Ya Ya in Ghanaian language means we will get there. And this song was made popular during the 70s and 80s as a traditional work song, and it was recorded by a group called Obisiba, and then made very popular in the United States when Sweet Honey in the Rock recorded it also. And we're going to sing it together.
Hello again. When Christina and I were talking about this upcoming service to launch our pledge campaign and whatnot, and talking about stewardship, I asked if I could have a little time to tell you about what I call the little committee that could. I'm talking about the Children's and Youth Religious Exploration Committee, which for the past 3 years has been made up by its chair, Rhonda Powell, Meg MacArthur, Mel Afregola, and myself. Now, you may not know this, but religious education is one of those things in a church community that everyone agrees is essential. I mean, everyone agrees teaching children is important, but not many people are actually willing to volunteer for the job. People donate items to the program or spend money at the bake sale that the kids are having. But when it comes to recruiting teachers or even sometimes committee members, it can sometimes be a tough sell. I mean, I get it. Teaching kids is hard work. It really is a labor of love with the emphasis on labor just as much as on love. And don't get me wrong, we've been lucky to have a lot of great people volunteer in our classrooms. But what I'm trying to say here is that these 3 women, Meg, Mel, and Rhonda, I can guarantee will say yes when asked to help out with this. So every once in a while, you find some pretty dedicated people. People who see that our future is right there in front of us in the faces of our children. And these 3 women, Rhonda, Meg, and Mel, are dedicated to our children. And they all come to this from different places. One has young children, one has no children, and the other, her children are grown. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle myself because my kids are still somewhere in the middle. The last one's back there. They have looked to their religious exploration teachers for guidance. Let's face it, just because mom said something doesn't make it cool or correct. You need independent verification, and sometimes that's your RE teacher. My point is that what they learn here is important, and everything we do here is a teaching moment for those kids. In the before times, meaning before the arrival of the coronavirus, these 3 women were the engine of our children's programming, attending monthly meetings, reviewing and selecting curriculum, planning events, recruiting volunteers, and often spending up to 2 Sundays a month themselves in the classroom as teachers. Together, we dreamed of reimagining our religious education program, of setting aside the centuries-old Sunday school model, which was very volunteer-heavy, and replacing it with a more flexible, less volunteer-heavy approach that would better meet the needs of our busy families. Then, in mid-March 2020, COVID-19 closed our doors. It would have been so easy for these 3 women to simply say, oh, okay, well, let me know when we reopen. Instead, as a group, their first concern was how we would stay in touch with our families. Just as the worship team was brainstorming new ways to share our Sunday services, our little committee did the same, offering online story times and parent get-togethers. They helped me put together monthly packets to send home to our families and delivered most of them themselves. In the meantime, Rhonda lent her expertise to our re-entry team and repainted all of our classrooms herself with a little help from her daughter. We rethought our spaces, held our Vesic ceremony outside. We planned a trunk or treat instead of our traditional trick or treat for UNICEF. Our watchword became flexibility. And we learned to pivot on a moment's notice and adjust a lesson plan based on the attendance for that week and still try to honor our safety policies. This fall, we are offering 2 age group classes, one for lower elementary and one for upper middle school kids. And these 3 women are primarily who our teachers are for all these classes. And we still think and dream and plan for our children, your children, and the ones we haven't met yet. We know that this process of rebuilding our religious exploration program here at UUFC is going to take a while, probably 2 or 3 years at least. But we'll get there, just like the song. And I, for one, am profoundly grateful that I can do this work with the help of these 3 women. Thank you.
So would the young or young at heart like to come play a game with me? Come on up.
Jenga.
You've probably seen this game before,
Yep.
and we're going to play a different version of it. Okay? So don't push the pieces out yet. Let me get my notebook and get my notes. And Stephen, looks like I skipped you. Will you go right after me?
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah.
Either that or I already played it and
No.
I'm done.
It was awesome, baby. I loved it.
Sorry, Stephen.
It went over well.
I got really excited about this
It
game.
went over well.
You want to come play? All right. So we are going to play a game,
Jenga.
Jenga, and we are going to talk about covenants today. Does anyone know what a covenant is?
It's like, it's basically a promise that you don't exactly promise you will always do it. You promise that you will work harder to get to that goal.
That is great. I really appreciate that. And we here in this congregation, at this fellowship, we covenant to treat each other fairly, with love, and we have the courage to try to do it the best we can. Right. And covenants are helpful all the time. And they are especially helpful when we have challenges, such as times of conflict, or when the congregation is growing or shrinking. And it's also helpful when we make a pledge to this congregation to help it sustain itself. And it gives us courage. Covenants give us courage when things are hard, and it helps us stand up for what we believe in. So we are going to revisit our covenant today, and we're going to imagine that the pandemic is shaking the tower in a minute. And so what I want you to do is, if the four of you can come over here, instead of doing Jenga where we usually pick out one piece at a time and it's kind of a competition, we're going to work together. And I want all of you to help hold this tower up. You can do it with your hands, and I'm going to be the pandemic, and I'm going to shake this tower. Oh, look at that. It's so strong with all of you working together. All right. It didn't fall. Thank you.
Then what are all these extra blocks for?
Oh, those extra blocks. I wonder what they're for.
Making them taller.
Maybe so. So, you as a group embodied covenant. We are stronger when we work together. And it didn't topple over, even though I really, really, really tried to topple it over. Thank you. So, I have a whole set of blocks here. And if you could hold this for me. All right. I would like for this group to help remind us what happened over the last couple of years during the pandemic that we accomplished, that made us stronger. And for example, if you could put this one on, Julia. No, that's your mom's. Oh my goodness, yeah. Okay, so this,
She's switching for the day.
you're switching for the day. I'll call you Julia, okay? You shrunken, Julia. So this first block is that in March 2020, within a week, UUFC pivoted to online services and closed the doors to keep everyone safe. Would you put the block on top? Yeah.
I am
And you have one? Okay. The second one
purple.
is that this congregation pulled together. Yeah. It's got to turn next. During that time, everybody supported this congregation financially, even when it was not clear when we would get back together. Hold on. You've got to wait for me to. You've got to wait. We're on number 3. Number 3 is all of that technology was set up during that time to help us live stream. when we were here recording, and then when the pandemic got a little worse and we started recording and putting things up on YouTube, we switched to doing things online. There was flexibility, as Karen's word was clear. Thank you. So that was that one. Okay.
No, that was this one.
That was the, okay. So you're putting that one on. During that time, during that time, we also maintained the employment of all the core staff of this fellowship. The religious education program teachers were not paid because they were not here for those few hours a week, but the music director, the pianist, the RA director, the administration was paid, and we applied for PPP grants and got them.
What's PPP grants?
What, Michael, what's PPP again? Payroll Protection Program. And we were able to maintain the staff. Almost. I think, will you put one on? Okay, and who remembers last October?
Me? Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat. And what were we
I
doing?
want to do the trunk or treat
We
again.
were worshiping outside under a giant tent.
I want
Yeah.
to do the trunk or treat.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.
Can we have costumes?
Will you put one on for during all of that time we welcome new members? And then we moved indoors with masks on and recorded music. Will you put that one on? This tower is getting tall and strong.
Well, weaker technically. And a lot of windows.
Oh, really? How is it weaker?
Because it's getting taller, and so the top has less stability.
Well, it's looking pretty strong to me.
It looks strong, but the top has less
All right.
stability.
During that time, okay, Maya, listen. I'm going to say that one of the things that made us stronger is that we made an area in the back for you as children to be a part of us during that year when classes were not in. And will you put in a block that during that time, this congregation paid off the mortgage? Woo! All right. And during this past few months, this congregation also raised almost $100,000 to support a new settled minister in the future. What incredible strength. And will you put in a block that the worship associate team has been revitalized and has grown, and many people are participating, and there are lots of new ideas, even debates about announcements of when to do it, how to do it, when not to do it, and debates are healthy. Oh, careful. Will you put in one of those for hiring a newsletter coordinator?
What's a newsletter coordinator?
I'll tell you later.
Who is it? Who is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you all about her. And during that time, we revamped the website. And during that time, we supported our benevolences. Yeah. Will you put that on there? Oh, okay, well, cool. We're almost there. We supported our partner benevolences. We supported resettled refugees who moved to the Clemson area. Go ahead, somebody put a block on. And I'm going to celebrate that the religious education classes started again this fall. All right. So what else did I forget? Yes, I have a few extras. Oh, the Founders House improvement, that's right. The beautiful new space with the bright sunlight for meetings, that's wonderful. What else have I forgotten?
We raised more than our goal for the on the auction.
The auction was fun and exciting and raised so much more than expected. Anybody else have a memory of what we've done that I've forgotten? Okay.
All the circle dinners started again.
Circle dinners started again. Would you put a block?
Can I?
Yeah. Oh, yes, Meg? Renovated the sanctuary garden. Thank you. And and help from those who we built relationships with who are here as resettled refugees. And yes. Maintaining all the physical structures, especially during the time when we were separate from each other. These buildings needed maintaining all during that time, and all the lights were switched out to LED. So much has happened. This is a celebratory tower. And even though you're convinced that it's not strong, I'm looking at it and thinking that it's pretty darn strong. So thank you. I appreciate your help with this tower. And
Big Jenga tower. I want to play Jenga.
we can play Jenga after. If you would like, during coffee hour, you can come in here and play Jenga. Okay? All right. All right, thank you.
Wait, that can last an hour of coffee hour?
Stephen, would you play some music for us? Sorry, Stephen.
You know what we're gonna do? Feel like I'm having a press conference. On now? Yeah. Okay. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rock you stay. Forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay. Forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth. See the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous and upright and be strong. May you stay. Forever young.
So, Lori, that song is for you today. As I prepared for the sermon, the annual sermon of how to kick off the stewardship campaign, I think really what it's all about is celebrating what makes us strong as a community, what brings us together, and highlighting the successes of this fellowship. It brings us in a time of reflecting on the past into the present and really dreaming and reimagining what we want for our future. Well, we did that together already by building that tower with the help of the children and the young at heart, by reminding us what made us strong during these past few years. And piece by piece, you built this tower with the collective and courageous actions of the last few years. This congregation has weathered the storm, and I might say you're stronger for it. What I can say is you are rebuilding, and as we come back together in new ways, we have the opportunity now to re-envision ways of doing it differently. Yes, there is lots to do. There are still committees that need chairs. There are still things to be funded. There's still a search team that's hopefully looking for somebody amazing out there. But I feel a determination in the air. I sense a hopefulness and an excitement about what is to come. Can you feel it too? I imagine what the 12 charter members of this fellowship would think of you today. I would imagine that they are proud. They are proud because you are living into the mission of this fellowship. Your mission is to be an inclusive religious community, sharing open minds, spiritual growth, and compassionate action. And you are doing that. You are living into your relationships and that mission by your covenant with each other. You are living into that mission by the promises that you've made to stand up for the values that Unitarian Universalism holds. You are doing that by supporting things such as working towards voting access, by supporting social justice actions in the community. You are doing that in ways that are helping resettle those who came here as refugees from all different places in the world. You are living into your relationship to the mission with creativity, with courageousness and boldness. And you are living into that mission by being a pledging supporter to the annual stewardship drive. This fellowship, founded in 1954, by the energy, by the efforts, and by the funds of those founding members and friends, built a place for you today. And your actions, your time, your talent, your treasure that you offer is building a place for those who come in the future. Reverend Bill Neely wrote about that in this way. He said, stewardship is a way of saying, we got you. It's as if your bus fare had been paid by those who came before. It's as if the founder said, come on, sit down, take a rest. There's a space for you on the bus. You, the stranger, you, the sad, you, the fearful, you who feels alone, your fare has already been paid. They have been paid by the people whose faith built these walls and built this work. And it was built by the faith that was founded with hope and love and a dream of the future. That dream was one based in justice and democracy and equity and love and our connection to each other and to the environment. Those are the values we share. Many of those founding members are no longer with us, yet their gifts and their ministries still exist. They exist by welcoming and strengthening and blessing you. As we walk into this building, they are remembered. Reverend Neely invites us as Unitarian Universalists to come here to this fellowship on a weekly basis, to come here and know hope, to come here and know that you're not alone. We got you, he says. And once you're on that bus and you found your seat, and you have your bearings, and you have your hope and your sense of voice and strength, know that others can get here too. Here in this fellowship, you are surrounded by those who are committed to reflecting that this world can be transformed by beauty and goodness. You will be able, with all the strengths and shared inspiration, to bring others aboard so that they might find warmth and inspiration, and thus anyone else who comes on the bus later will be able to share that inspiration with others. Your fare had been paid by those who came before you. So pay the fare for those to come next. This is a house of love and hope that welcomes everyone who seeks its comfort, wisdom, and community, end quote. Your pledge to the Stewardship Drive on an annual basis is a way of paying forward. I think about the children among us, and I myself was a child who grew up in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, and I know that those buildings and those programs were built by people before me, and you are building the program for them. You are building the programs for visitors who have yet to come, for families who have yet to find a place for their children. I wonder if you have ever thought about how risky that is. When I use the word risk, that is a risky thing, I know that taking a risk is the foundation of acting courageously. Let's talk about risk for a minute, because perhaps that word taps into some trepidation. But here's a way to think about risk. Reverend Joan Javier Duval says, we might not automatically think of this fellowship as a place that is risky. In fact, you might feel like it's the opposite of risky. It's safe, it's comfortable, and it certainly is those things at times. But this community is a place of risk. It's a place of risk because it's a place where we ask one another to make commitments. It's a place of risk because it's where we learn together to consider things in new ways. It's a place of risk because it's a place where we come to learn to follow through on our commitments and to make those commitments together, communally. And when we are committed to something bigger than ourselves, there's a danger. There's a danger of making change and being changed. We risk transformation. So we today are committing ourselves to risk, to act with courage, to risk courageously for the future. As you give your time and your talent and your treasure, you support the stewardship campaign, you support the children's programs, you support whatever is to come in the future for this fellowship. And I am so excited to see what happens with the search for the new settled minister this coming year. When I thought of a title for the service, I thought of faith as an action word, which is generally not something we consider faith as an action word. We think of it as a set of beliefs or something you carry around. But I beg of you to think of it instead as an expression of what you hold most dear, of reaching for something bigger, of dreaming big. I believe that this congregation can make a difference in the world when it dreams big. And I see a really tall tower giving evidence to that. And I have a feeling some children are going to knock it down when we're done here today. I'm going to close with a poem by Alberto Rios. It's called "Giving is All We Have." He begins with this reflection. One river gives its journey to the next. And he continues, we give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it, and perhaps we have even been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big, though small, diamond and wood nails. Its story is old. The plot is worn and the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and over. Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours and yours to mine. You gave me blue and I gave you yellow, and together we made simple green. And you gave me what I did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. And together we made something greater from the difference. Amen, and may it be so. Let us sing our final song together. Come sing a song with me, number 346 in the gray hymnal. I'm wondering if you would help me blow out the chalice. do it with this or with your breath? Thank you. As we extinguish our chalice today, I close with these words. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light, and we sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig, and we profit from persons we do not know. This is as it should be, because together we are more than one person can be. Together we can build across generations. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice, for we are bound in community. This community. May it always be so.